Our reading today is from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12, the account of the visit of the Magi. I wonder if you've ever bought a present for a baby. You can get something fairly obvious like a teddy or a blanket, but there's lots of gifts out there that can communicate our hopes for who the baby is going to become. Lots of dads buy their babies miniature football kits in the colours of their team, or a bib that says, "I was born a Spurs fan." You can get a miniature mortarboard and a baby grow saying, "Child Genius, graduate of Harvard." When the wise men arrived to pay homage to Jesus, their gifts were totally impractical for a newborn: gold, frankincense and myrrh. But they were status symbols speaking volumes about who the baby is going to become. Gold, the gift for a king, tantamount to giving baby Jesus a crown. An odd gift because King Herod is the king of the Jews at this point in history, and Herod's sons are the princes in line to the throne. And yet the Magi arrive with gold to symbolise that this baby is born to be a king. The claim the Bible makes is that Jesus is the king of the whole world, the King of Kings. But people were always confounded by his teaching. As Jesus spoke about his kingdom, they could never work out exactly where it was. He never summoned an army to establish his kingdom, and even though he was born in the line of King David, Jesus chooses to keep company with lepers and prostitutes, and never royal courtiers. Gold for a king, it seems such an incongruous gift, and yet billions of people all over the world testify to this day that Jesus is the king over their life. Frankincense. This is a consecrated incense for burning as a priest in the temple. The baby is born to be a king and a priest. A priest is a mediator, someone who acts as a bridge between heaven and earth, who stands in the gap between the two. A mediator is needed whenever a relationship has fundamentally broken down. Frankincense points to the truth that we are estranged from God because of our own sin, and that Jesus has come to bridge the gulf between us. God does not just send his condolences for the gap. He comes to fix it himself. Hebrews chapter 5 says Jesus is given by God to be our great high priest. And then myrrh, a tree resin used to anoint corpses, a very odd thing to give to a baby because it is so deeply associated with death. Jesus' birth was not the only time Jesus was given myrrh. He was offered myrrh to drink when he was hanging on the cross being crucified, and his body was wrapped in myrrh when he was buried in a tomb. The baby in the manger is born to be the King of Kings, born to be the bridge between God and all mankind, and to make that possible, he is born to die as the perfect sacrifice for us. God becomes man to heal the chasm between us through his own death. So were the wise men right in their gifts for the baby, or were they well-meaning but mistaken? It's one thing to say that they thought Jesus was the king, the priest, born to die. And yet it is quite another thing entirely to say, Jesus, you are my king. You are my priest, and you died for me. Amen.